Hey everyone, and welcome back for another deep dive with us. You mentioned wanting to explore some online businesses, and
It seems like drop servicing really caught your attention based on these articles you sent over.
yeah,
So let's unpack this whole drop servicing thing together and see if it lives up to the hype. Is it really the golden ticket to,
yeah,
entrepreneurial freedom?
right. It's definitely an interesting one, especially like in today's world, right? Everything's digital, everything's online.
Right.
When people hear drop servicing, I think a lot of people think, "Oh, is that just another buzzword?" But
Yeah.
it's actually a pretty practical concept when you get down to it.
I completely agree. The Oberlu article that you sent, they define it as service arbitrage, which basically
Mhm.
just means, you're the middleman, right?
Yeah.
You're selling a service, but you're selling it for more than it costs you to have somebody else actually do the work.
Right.
They give a great example about a web development business, right?
Sure.
So let's say, you're running this business and a client comes to you and they need a website built.
Okay.
You're the one who's handling that client relationship,
Yeah.
but you're not the one who's actually sitting there, coding the website from scratch.
Right.
You're taking that technical work and you're outsourcing it to a freelance web developer.
Exactly.
And that's where that whole arbitrage thing comes in.
Yeah, that's where you're basically profiting on that difference, right, between what the client's paying you and what you're paying the freelancer to do the work.
Exactly.
But it's not just about taking a cut.
Right.
You're the one bringing everything together.
Right. You're like the conductor of the orchestra.
Yeah, sure.
You're finding the clients. You're managing all the projects. You're making sure the quality's good. Like,
You're providing value beyond just
yeah, you're providing value beyond just connecting the dots.
exactly.
It's not just like, here's the client, here's the freelancer, go,
Right.
there's more to it.
You're the one making sure everything runs smoothly.
Right.
That the client's happy,
Absolutely.
that the freelancer's happy, that deadlines are met.
You know what's so interesting about this?
What's that?
This model, this is nothing new.
No, not at all.
Like, think about construction
Yeah. Yeah.
or even like renovating a house.
Right.
General contractors have been doing this forever.
Exactly.
Yeah. They're handling the entire project, but then they're like, okay, I need an electrician, I need a plumber.
Right. They subcontract out all those different specialties.
And that's really what drop servicing is, right? It's taking that traditional business model and just bringing it into like the online world.
Exactly. Exactly. It's taking it digital.
And I feel like when you do that, that opens up so many more possibilities for, someone like you who wants to build a business online.
Absolutely. And I think that's one of the most appealing things about it. And they even mentioned this in the Oprah article. Like, it's a really low barrier to entry.
Right.
Like you don't have to go out and, get a storefront.
And spend a ton of money to even get started.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There's no inventory. You don't need a bunch of startup capital. So I think for someone like you who you've mentioned before, kind of wanting to dip your toes into the entrepreneurial waters,
Yeah.
without
like betting the farm.
exactly.
Yeah.
This could be a really good way to kind of test the waters.
Absolutely. And speaking of like not having to, go all in and bet everything, one thing I thought was really interesting is that you don't even necessarily have to be an expert in every single service
Right.
that you offer.
Yeah.
I mean, it helps, right, to have some knowledge, but you're really acting more as a coordinator.
Yeah. You're the facilitator.
You're connecting those clients with the right people, and that's really valuable.
Right. And as you start to do more of it, you're gonna become more familiar with it.
Yeah.
So even if you're not an expert going in, you probably will be, as you gain experience.
Right.
But I think having that base level of familiarity with the services that you're offering is definitely going to make you a better drop service provider in the long run.
Yeah, because then you're able to really understand what the client needs.
That's
You
it.
can communicate that clearly to the freelancer,
Right.
and it just makes the whole process smoother, which is, I think, the ultimate goal.
Exactly.
So you're almost like a translator in a way, right?
Yeah.
You're bridging that gap between the clients who are like, I need this thing done, but I don't know how to do it.
Right.
And then those talented individuals who are like, I can do that, but I don't know how to find the clients.
Exactly. You're the connector.
And as your business grows, as you get more experience, you might even find yourself specializing.
Right.
Right? Like you might kind of naturally gravitate towards one particular niche.
Absolutely. And I think that's something that, a lot of successful entrepreneurs do is they start out broad and then they kind of they find their niche and they really focus in on that. And I think that can be a really successful strategy with drop servicing as well.
Makes sense, yeah. So you're not just pigeonholed into like, this is all I do for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
There's room to evolve as you go.
Exactly.
Okay, so we've established that you don't have to be like this master of all trades to make this work.
Right.
But I am curious, like, what types of services are we actually talking about here? What lends itself well to this whole drop servicing model?
Well, I think that's kind of the beauty of it,
Yeah.
right? You can really apply it to so many different things.
Yeah.
But the Oberlo article, they give some really great examples of ones that are particularly, I guess, relevant today in the current market.
Yeah, yeah.
And, a lot of them revolve around like the online space.
Right. Like they talked about video editing and production, which makes perfect sense because
Yeah.
video content is huge, but not everybody, has those skills or the time
Right.
to actually create high quality videos.
It's so time consuming too.
Yeah.
Video editing.
So that's where you come in. You're the one who's connecting those businesses that need the video content with the people who can actually make it happen.
Exactly.
And I love how you could even niche down within that, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Because it's not just video. It's like, okay, do you do explainer videos? Do you do like...
Right. Do you do social media videos? Do you do
Oh, do you do wedding videos?
wedding videos? Yeah. There you go.
See, now you're thinking...
There's a niche for you.
I mean, knowing you and your love for design and all that, like, you could totally corner the market on that.
Maybe.
Okay.
Okay.
But let's say we want to stick with like the business world for now.
Okay.
They also mentioned SEO,
Yeah.
search engine optimization,
Huge one.
as a really good candidate for drop servicing.
And it makes sense, right? Because SEO is, if you're a business,
It's so important.
you have to be online and you have to be findable, right?
Absolutely.
But it's complicated.
Oh, it's so
It
complicated.
changes all the time. Like,
Yeah, and who has time to keep up with that?
most business owners, they're busy running their business,
Yeah.
They don't have time to become SEO experts on top of everything else.
Okay, so paint me a picture here.
Okay.
Let's say like I'm a drop servicing entrepreneur and SEO is my jam. That's what I'm selling. What does that actually look like in practice?
Okay, so let's say you connect with this local bakery.
Okay.
They've got a great website.
Getzel cupcakes. Yeah.
Exactly. But they're buried, page 5 of the search results.
Nobody's finding them.
Nobody can find them, right?
Right.
So you come in and you're like, okay, I see what's going on here. You need some help with local SEO. So like optimizing for bakeries near me, that kind of thing.
Right, right.
So you would be the one that connects them with freelance SEO specialists
Got it.
who can actually go in and do the work.
So I find the people who are like the SEO wizards,
Exactly.
they wave their magic wand, and then all of a sudden,
Their website's at the top.
this bakery's got like lines out the door.
There you go.
Amazing.
And you're the one who made it happen.
That's awesome.
You're helping them grow their business.
Yeah, that's so cool.
It's about leveraging that power of the internet,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
To actually help businesses succeed.
I love that.
And the best part is, you don't have to be an SEO wizard yourself.
Right, right.
You're the one who brings everything together.
Yeah.
That's your value.
Yeah, you're the strategist, you're the connector.
Exactly. Exactly.
I love it.
So,
What other gems did this Oberlo article have for us?
Well, they also mentioned, going back to the web development piece.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
Which, honestly, with so many businesses needing websites these days.
Right, like who doesn't?
Yeah, it's a really good one to consider, for sure.
Yeah, and I love that you don't even have to limit yourself to just like building a website from scratch, right?
Right. You could do maintenance, you could do updates,
But ongoing stuff.
ongoing stuff, yeah, like customizing WordPress themes.
Yeah.
There's tons of things.
So it's really about finding those pain points
Yes.
that businesses have and then, positioning yourself as the solution.
Exactly.
And I feel like the more niche down you can be,
Yes.
the better.
100%, because you've got to think about, there's going to be competition out there, right?
Right.
So how are you going to stand out?
Yeah, what makes you different?
Exactly. And I think the Oberlo article, they had a really good point about that too. Like they were saying, when you're choosing a niche, think about
Oh, I know exactly what you're going to say.
what's that?
Think about your own skills and interests, right?
Exactly.
And that's actually what made me think of this because they specifically called out podcast production
Oh, yeah.
as a potential niche.
Yeah.
And I know how much you love, listening to podcasts. You're always telling me about some new show you found.
I do. I love podcasts.
I feel like
It's such a good medium.
You could totally rock that. Like,
Yeah.
help businesses, get their podcast off the ground.
You know what? It's funny you should mention that because I was actually just reading an article about how
Don't tell me everybody's podcasting now.
so many businesses are adding it to like their whole marketing mix.
Really?
Because it's a great way to, like connect with your audience.
Well, yeah, it's more personal.
It's way more personal.
Okay, I'm sold. So let's say I'm like, podcast production. That's it. I'm hanging my hat on this.
I love it.
What do I do? Does this Oberlo article, do they actually tell you, like, how to launch a drop servicing business?
They do. They've got a really like a clear roadmap that they lay out.
Okay.
And it all starts with choosing that niche, right? Like we were saying, some of it,
I feel like I've got that part down.
Yeah, you do. Check that off the list.
But they really emphasize, like, that passion piece.
Yes.
Which I get that.
Because if you're excited about it,
Yeah.
it's going to show,
Yeah.
right?
It's going to come through in the work.
And your clients are going to pick up on that,
Yeah, they can totally sense if you're, like, phoning it in.
Exactly.
Okay, so I've got the niche. What's next?
Oh, then they talk about building your A team.
Oh, so you do need a team. It's not just me by myself.
Well, I mean, you could, but it's going to be a lot more work.
Yeah, that's true.
So they really emphasize, finding those freelancers, vetting them, making sure they're good.
So there is a little bit of that set it and forget it mentality.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
You do have to be involved. You have to put in the work up front.
Up front. Yeah, for sure.
Which I actually kind of appreciate that they're like being real about that.
Oh, yeah. 100%.
Okay, so I've got my A team of podcasting gurus.
Love it.
What's the next step?
They say you got to get online.
Oh, right.
You need a website.
I can't just like tell people to,
Word of mouth.
Yeah, just like tell my friends.
Yeah. You've got to have a website.
Okay, so how do I even make a website?
Well, they actually mention a few different platforms that are really user friendly. Shopify, Wix, WordPress.
Okay, I've heard of those.
Yeah, and a lot of them even have free trials, so you can kind of like
Oh, I do love a good free trial.
try it before you buy it, right?
Exactly.
See if it's the right fit for you.
Okay, so I've got my website, I've got my team. Now what? How do people find me?
Content marketing.
Okay, what's that?
So basically, creating content that's going to attract your ideal clients.
So like blog posts about podcasting.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Maybe some tips on social media or even, like short little videos.
Yeah, like why podcasting is important. Like I could do that. I could totally see myself like, going behind the scenes of like how a podcast is made.
Yeah, or like interview some successful podcasters.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Get their insights.
Oh, I'm getting like chills right now. This is so exciting.
Right.
Okay, so things are coming together here. I've got my niche, I've got my team, I've got my website, I'm creating content, I'm ready to like quit my job and just do this full time.
You're all in.
I'm all in. But before I do, is there anything else, like anything I need to think about, like the less glamorous stuff?
Well, I mean, you're right. They do mention briefly the legal side of things.
Oh, right.
Which, nobody loves to talk about, but
it's important.
it's important.
So no getting around taxes or anything like that.
No, you've got to follow the rules for sure.
Play by the books.
Exactly. And if you're not sure about something, talk to somebody who knows.
Yeah, hire an expert. Right.
Exactly.
Okay, so we've talked about the legal stuff. Now let's talk about like, what everybody really wants to know.
Let's say.
How much money can I make doing this?
Right. The $1 million question.
Yeah.
The Oberlo article, they're smart. They don't make any like crazy promises.
Okay.
Because it really depends.
On a lot of factors.
Their niche, your pricing, how much effort you're putting in.
So no Lamborghinis on day one.
Probably not, no.
Okay, good to know.
But, I think the important thing is that if you go into this with the right mindset and you're committed to like actually delivering a good service.
Yeah, you're not just trying to like make a quick buck.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Then there's no reason why this can't be a really like successful business for you.
Right. It's about building something that lasts, that you're proud of.
And who knows, maybe that Lamborghini will come.
Eventually.
One podcast at a time.
Exactly.
I love that. This has been so helpful. I feel like I've learned so much, and I'm really starting to like wrap my head around this whole drop servicing thing.
It's definitely got potential.
It does. And this Oberlo article was great. It was a great place to start.
It's a good jumping off point.
But there's so much more to learn. There's so much out there.
Always.
So to everyone listening, if this is something you're interested in,
Yeah.
don't stop here. Keep researching, keep exploring,
Keep diving deep.
keep diving deep. Exactly.
Love it.
And hopefully we'll see you back here for another deep dive real soon.
Sounds good.
Until next time.